Hi, my name is Melindy. I am the founder of Paris Living, which is a real estate agency dedicated to finding properties for Anglophones or foreigners who don't speak French. And I have been meaning to start this video series for a while, and now that we are in lockdown because of the coronavirus, I thought this is the time. I'm here, and I have tons and tons to share about the transaction process and the property market in Paris. So this is the first episode, and I will also do a second series about day-to-day living in Paris right now under the constraints and under the day-to-day evolution of the government's constrictions over our movement, where we're allowed to go, how far we're allowed to go, and different policies about how to contain the virus and how it impacts my life in specific. I can't speak for other people because I'm not supposed to go near them. I've been staying at home. So that will be a second series. So for this episode, I'll just give you a brief overview of what the Paris property market is like. And the main number one thing that is different between France, actually in general, not just Paris, and the United States and other countries, is that there is no multiple listing service. So that means that if you are looking to buy an apartment, you have to go to agency to agency to agency, meaning that each agency has maybe 10 to 15 listings, and those can be anything from a cave to a parking lot to a 5-bedroom or a 1-bedroom. It's the listings that they've been able to get, and they're not necessarily in the neighborhood of where that agency is, because now that everything has moved online, the classic local agent who would have listings only in that neighborhood isn't really relevant anymore. So you walk into an agency, they have something in the window that looks nice. Usually that's bait to get you in there. Most of the things in the window are sold. But they want to get you in and get your details. And if they don't have something that you're looking for, then they will try to suggest something else. And they've got limited inventory. They'll try to push whatever they can. And then if they don't have anything that suits your criteria, then you'll have to go to the next agency. So there's a lot of footwork. And even agencies that are chains like Century 21, or there are a few here, Orpi, Era, there are several. They don't share listings between them. So even if you found a place online with Century 21 in the 9th, they would not, someone at Century 21 in the 5th would not be able to show you the apartments in the 9th. So it's, all of that is to say that there's a lot of footwork. Then there's the for sale by owner. For sale by owner listings, there's actually a fair amount. A lot of French people, it's a very, in some ways, very fundamentally different society and different economy, and the middleman is often looked down upon. A lot of people prefer to recoup the commission by selling a property themselves. So there's a few different places where people will post things. We always look through those as well, of course. Sometimes people have the feeling that because it's for sale by owner and they're not going to pay an agency fee, a commission, that it's going to be cheaper. But in my experience, that's actually not the case. They're trying to recoup the commission, and so sometimes the prices are even greedier in for sale by owner listings than with agencies. Because in fact, the job of the agent is to lower the price as much as possible. They want to sell it as fast as possible, so they want to convince the owner to lower the price. And what I mean by that is to have the fairest market value possible, and not to market it above its real value, because then it will hang out online and on the market for a long time. That will diminish its value in the eyes of all of the potential buyers out there who are watching it and seeing it's not moving. Why isn't that apartment selling? So the job of the agent really is to get the seller to agree to a reasonable price so that it will move quickly. So even though people instinctually think that dealing directly with the owner is cheaper, honestly it's not, and not always. And dealing with the owner, it depends. If they're very, very organized with their papers and they know how transaction works, it can be great. But if they don't, it can be a real mess. That's also the job of an agent, is to make sure that all of the paperwork is ready and that the apartment is legally ready to put on the market. There are a lot of things that would make an apartment not ready to put on the market. For example, if the apartment had been rented out to someone on an unfurnished lease, that tenant has the right of first refusal. And that tenant has to has to waive their right of first refusal by certified mail. So there are a lot of things that a seller, as an individual and not a property professional, would not even know. And then it just creates a big mess down the line. So that's one of the things that we do. From the get-go, if there's an apartment that our clients like, we make sure that all of these things have been looked at, have been taken care of. We do a lot of preliminary due diligence. That is a very, very big part of our business, and a big part of our service. So I think that is probably enough for today. I will film another episode tomorrow and talk more in detail about different types of properties in Paris and what the price per square meter is, how important that is as a reference, and a little bit more. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.